Can you pull up the Guardian article? This is kind of where I was going with it, to see a fifth of teenagers watch pornography frequently, or some are addicted, and UK study finds, right? If you go to the bottom, Rob, there's a quote in there that's the part where the correlation between sexual abuse and watching porn is very high. The majority of what they see is violent. Not the majority of what they see is violent. And I know you'll say, well, for us, we don't let the man slap physical abuse. If he's slapping her in the butt, maybe we'll approve it because our people will approve it, but not if it's this. And I don't know what kind of stuff that you guys are going to put up there or not. To me, if I was a kid that grew up very poor and we sold drugs, some of our friends sold drugs, the goal was to stop and get away from it. And it's temporary, right? Because there's more honorable ways of making money. Okay, but at certain times when you're in a place and you're doing what you're doing, it's really not your number one job. Like if you look at the correlation between somebody who becomes a porn star and their upbringing with their parents, loving mom and dad, it's a lot of messy stories with I'm not saying everybody. I know you're going to go tell me there's this pastor that's now an incredible porn star and all this other stuff. And I even saw that Ron Jeremy one time called his XXX pastor and he prayed for him. And then right after he prayed for him, he went back and Ron Jeremy's doctor said, if you can climb up the stairs twice, you can do porn. He says, Doc, I climbed up the stairs 4 times, so that means I can do 2 times a day and all this. I've seen all this stuff because Ron Jeremy, I used to go and I'd have dinner, he'd be sitting right next to me. Whatever place he lived, we lived around because he would go to the same El Torito years ago, right? But to me, people don't grow up with their dreams of saying, I want to be a porn star, unless if they watch porn to aspire to become a porn star.
It's interesting.
Let me finish this stop and I'll finish it, turn it over to you. People do it purely. I've been around porn stars. I had people who got into the business and the breakdown of math. And if you're agreeing to do this, gay porn will pay you this much more money than you do this. And there was a dollar amount. This pay this much, that pays this much, this pay this much, this pay so much. If you do this, so person's like, wait a minute, if I do this, you're going to pay me this much. Yes, one day we're sitting, and I'm not going to mention the person's name because the person ended up being a vice president with our company, previous company I was a part of, making $250,000 a year income. One day at the office, these guys are playing late HBO soft porn. Remember HBO when they had soft porn back in the days? I'm sure you consumed it, but back in the days that HBO had soft porn, and guys are like, is that who I think it is? I'm not even kidding with you. He's like, no, it's not. Dude, I think it is. Like, there's no way in the world. Can you pause it? So then we went to the event, and a couple of the guys approached him. They said, was this you? And you should see the look on his face. The look on the face was like, yeah, back in the days when I needed money, I had to do something to make money. And even bodybuilders, a lot of them do stuff purely out of desperation of needing money. This is not necessarily an industry where I would say more than 5% of people do it because they aspire to grow up and be porn stars. It is an industry because people who become drug dealers, their dream wasn't to be a drug dealer. And I know this is an uncomfortable conversation.
Drug dealers are criminals. There's a difference. Drug dealers are criminals.
Yeah, I get that. But even those who did certain kind of porn that is edgy, almost anybody that gets into porn and then they want to make the bigger dollars, they participate in certain things that pays more. That's why I said, what is the dream? Is the dream to help them get off of producing this kind of stuff? Or is the dream to, this is their way to do something and then get away and have a regular day job in whatever they're doing? Because I don't see the dream or the aspirations for us to get other people growing up to say, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a porn star.
Well, I think that this is informed a lot because I agree with you. There are a lot of these narratives that are out there that are these kind of doom and gloom stories, right? Because that is reinforcing a very problematic, long-standing stereotype that's what it means to be a porn star, right? That's what it means to be a content creator, is that it necessarily means that you came up through undue hardship or your parents were absent or your parents were drug addicts. That's not the reality of a lot of people. I don't want to say that there's like a singular definition of how these people grew up or where they came from, but there is certainly a very dominant idea in the media of what that looks like. And that's because we're as a society, very comfortable with that idea. And I think there's a very
I was around them. This is not
I
about
mean,
what
so
TBI
that's
saw.
so am I.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Yeah.
These are my friends and these are my family, and I can tell you
get
that,
that.
these are people that
But
that's
let me
not
ask you
their
a question.
reality.
How does somebody aspire to become a porn star?
But-
So hang on, I want to hear this. What is the healthy way that somebody grows up to want to be a porn star? Give me a healthy way.
I think that there's people who are very comfortable with their sexuality and they see
Yeah, but
a way
what
to monetize that in a way that is completely
I
legal.
get that. But think about the question, though. The question is, how does one, like, for example, how does one aspire to become a basketball player? They watched somebody play basketball when they were younger. How does somebody aspire to become a baseball player? They watched somebody play baseball when they were younger. How does somebody aspire to become a politician president? They saw a debate. They saw somebody command presence from stage. I want to grow up to be. How does somebody aspire to be a comedian? How does somebody aspire to become a porn star?
How does somebody
Because
aspire to work at Starbucks, or how does somebody aspire to want to
no,
be an accountant?
that's not an aspiration. That's called a job. That's a
And
interim, and then you hope to move up within the company if you decide to stay. But most people that work at Starbucks don't stay there for 20 years. It's a step up of a job is what I'm trying to say. I didn't work at Bally's because I was going to be the CEO of the company. I didn't go in the military because I wanted to be the general of the Army. I went in the Army because I didn't have an option. I went in the Army because I had a 1.8 GPA in high school and life was tough. It wasn't easy. So all I'm saying is an element of this is to get away from the industry because if somebody inspired to become a porn star at a young age, then that's called child pornography. That's exactly part of the problem. When did you know you wanted to be a lawyer? 29 years old? When did you know you wanted to be a lawyer? Probably young age.
Sure.
Who inspired you?
Yeah. Law and Order?
Of course. And how old were you when you first watched
there's a
it?
difference.
But you're validating my point.
No,
So
the point is there are adult jobs, right? There are adult jobs that are for adults.
I get what you're saying. I'm not telling you there's not. And I'm not even going with like the idea of we must ban all porn. No, that's the option and the choice of people above 18. This is America. You're not comfortable with it? Don't watch it. But if somebody else that wants to do your thing. But you have to realize, how did one how were they inspired to be a porn star? They probably...
But there's a whole bunch of assumptions in that people are inspired. No, I'll tell you what the assumptions.
Interviewed. You want me to roll up how many documentaries of former porn stars' background?
That people are inspired or aspire, right? People like Alex, who works with creators every single day, and not anecdotally, like talking about working with them, helping them through their business issues, helping them with trust and safety, helping them with all of these things, getting to know them.
Yeah.
They have stories that are as varied as you can imagine. In fact, before I got into this,
less than 5% of them.
No, before I got into this, I had never met anybody in the adult industry who at least admitted to me they were in the adult industry. Never. And I had all kinds of these preconceived notions. Right. What their background looked like, what their education looks like. And all of a sudden, I'm meeting people who are, and this is a very loaded word, normal, who are parents and spouses, who have advanced degrees, who come from strong, stable families.
You're making the exception. So
I'm telling you my experience, and you're telling me your experience.
How good of a boxer are you?
Come on, I'm a Jewish guy named Solomon with these glasses.
That's
not
my
happen.
point.
It's not gonna
Why
happen.
though? Why? Why are you not a boxer? Why are you not a jiu-jitsu fighter? How many jiu-jitsu? Can you type in how many jiu-jitsu fighters that are Jewish?
I think they're good judo. We got judo guys.
I know you do, but type in how many professional jiu-jitsu fighters that are Jewish. Okay, can you type that up? I'm a Christian guy. Okay, so there isn't much information about how many Jewish fighters there are. You know why? What's the profile of a fighter? Fighting is not illegal, but what's the profile of a fighter? What is the profile of somebody that became a fighter? Because they lived in a place that was probably not the best option, and they wished they could have become an accountant or a lawyer or something else. They didn't have another choice. I was a 1.8 GPA kid in high school. I didn't have a lot of choice. I went to the Army, and then later on, I got lucky to get into the financial services industry. I grew up with people that were in this space. The number one G dealer in the caps back. I was the guy. My guy was a friend of mine that had to drop him off in UK. Anyways, the number one pot sales guy, the number one ecstasy guy that went to jail for 9 years. These are all my buddies. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make to you is the part of it that if somebody is in this space, it's to say if somebody got into the space, they had a rough upbringing. No one grows up to be a porn star.
What's interesting? There's a lot of truth in what you're saying, by the way. And I think it actually brings us to agreement more than disagreement. The creator community, whether it's porn star, call them what you want, they are vulnerable, right? They are a vulnerable community. So you could have no question about it, which is why they need a platform that keeps them safe to the absolute nth degree.
Maybe for 3 to 6 months they do this to get off of it and go do
which is their
something
personal
else.
choice.
Right.
We live in America or Canada, land of personal choice and self-determination. But when you have a population that is vulnerable, by the way, for a number of reasons.
What's this?
They need to have a platform that is absolutely safe.
I earn millions from doing porn, but my adult film couldn't ruin my life. X-rated stars a bitter reality of the job, revealing she's shamed over it every day and even lost her whole family because of her. By the way, this is just one story.
This is the Daily Mail, and this is a story about Riley Reid, who is a multimillionaire and who owns her own agency.
Do you know how many stories we can?
Sorry, her own agency of what kind of agency?
She has her own content management agency. She's happily married with a kid.
Alexandra, what I'm trying to say to you is, I can give you hundreds of stories like this. You cannot tell me somebody who grows up to be a porn star, they grew up to become a porn star because since they were a kid, they had a dream. And if that was the case, they watched porn illegally and these people groomed them at a young age. That's a problem. And you can't sit there and say that's not a problem. If a person became a porn star at 18, they were consuming porn and they were inspired by these guys. This is not a healthy industry to be a part of. There are certain things that we do that you get out. You're trying to get out of it. I was a bodyguard at one point for a Colombian guy. What do you think I was doing for this Colombian guy? Selling sugar? What do you think I was doing for this guy in Santa Monica, California? No. But there was a time I'm like, hey, what's going to happen with this? I don't know if I want to do this. And then boom, I'm out. Certain things in life that happens. All I'm saying is when I think about, investing in certain industries at any cost of rate of return, money to be made, I don't know. One of my very, very good friends back in the days, God bless his soul, was a criminal defense attorney in LA. And he would talk like this. Hey, Patrick, how you doing, buddy? And he was in a porn himself in his late 50s, early 60s. Mm-hmm. And he was a lawyer to a bunch of these criminal guys until eventually he started doing cocaine and then he went to jail. And
you have a really fascinating cast of characters around you. That's all I can say.
I mean, listen,
we're the most boring people you've ever met.
Actually, no, you would be amazed. You have to know, I enjoy good conversations and I'm enjoying this conversation
likewise.
Because you're giving me your perspective and I'm going to tell the story to say their point of view was ... And they seem like reasonable, nice, respectful people. I'm not walking away saying, this was a bad experience, you were disrespectful, you were rude. Not at all.
Likewise.
I'm going to walk away saying, I actually really enjoyed their conversation. I'm just questioning if, I think America right now has the wrong people as heroes, and they're confusing a lot of kids. I want to make sure kids, hero-making machine is a problem in America, and their kids are confused today in a big way. And I'm just, I just want to make sure that, that mindset of growing up saying, when I grow up, I want to be this, doesn't happen. That's because life was hard.
Patrick, we started the discussion about young people accessing the platform by saying we want to be blocked by Apple, Google, and Microsoft. Like, let that one sink in. That is the ownership group of PornHub saying we want our platform to be blocked by Apple, Google, and Microsoft. And we're currently blocked in
how many states actively right now where people can't?
13
states where we have made the conscious decision to block our service outright.
What's the reasoning for it? I got a big announcement to make. The property I'm on right now, we've been working on buying this property for the last 3 years. It's one of its last kind in America. Why? It's on 11 acres. It's got 2 hangars. It's on an airport. Upgrades of $7 million made here. That's going to be the new headquarters of Valuetainment Media, Bet-David Consulting, the podcast, the whole 9. And what we wanted to do, we want to find a way to celebrate this as a new headquarters with inviting you to an event on November 5th, which is election night. A lot of different things people will be talking about, business owners. What's going to happen if it goes this way? What's going to happen if it goes that way? So imagine 2,000 people being here. Let me show you around. Some of you will have a private meeting with me. That's the elite. That's going to be a few of you. Some will get a private tour of the entire office from us. There's a hangar in the back. So you come up here. Imagine there's going to be a couple major tents, 40 feet by 100 feet, where some of the people that are buying general tickets will be there. But over here inside the hangar is where the podcast will be held. This entire thing will be open like it is right now. Inside of it, myself, the PBD podcast crew, some of the super VIPs will be invited to go upstairs in a section that we have that's got a bar, a restaurant, food, kitchen. You're eating, you're watching it from all the way up there. while we're doing the podcast down here in the hangar. So imagine in this room, there's 1,000 people, right? While we're going through this whole thing. Conversation, it's gonna be from 6 p.m. is when it starts, all the way up to 2 o'clock in the morning. Who knows, maybe we'll go 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, because a lot of things that's gonna be going on. And by the way, do you know why we're not cutting this? We're on an airport. These are planes. We have to hear, because right here is the airport. And FYI, Messi plays right there at that stadium right behind us. There's 5 ticket tiers that you can purchase. Each one's got more things to offer. But even locally, there's general tickets to buy for just $75. Bring your wife, bring your husband, bring your family, bring your friends. There's one caveat after you buy the ticket. When you buy the ticket and you come on November 5th, you have to wear Future Looks Bright gear. I'm talking Future Looks Bright hat, a shirt, doesn't matter. You're gonna have to show I got some kind of Future Looks Bright gear, because we want everybody here to spread the message and the energy of optimism around the world, back to their states, wherever you're going to be. So November 5th, click on the link above or below, get registered. And if you're watching this saying, well, Pat, I like to travel private. Can I bring my private jet here? 5 of you guys will be after you buy your ticket. Then you can ask us, and that's only available to the tickets at the highest level possible to bring your jet and park it here. So having said that, get your tickets, and I cannot wait to see you November 5th, 6 p.m. at our new headquarters in Fort Lauderdale. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.